been playing Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma since the game came out, or are a newcomer, here are 11 things you may not know about the game, ranging from things series veterans might be aware of to things beginners would certainly want to know about. I am Bianca and welcome to today's video. Let's start off with the first thing on our list, traveling merchants. During your visits in the 4 villages spanning Azuma, you will undoubtedly find these merchants hanging around the entrance to these 4 villages. What wares they sell changes from time to time, from seeds, jewels, ingredients, monster materials, and food. But did you know that you can also find these merchants outside of the village? Yes, merchants travel outside of the villages and they spawn randomly. Where they spawn at, however, is always close to warp points, and you can tell by checking out your map once you are outside of the village and see if there are any white dots loitering around warp points. These traveling merchants are the quickest way you can get golden seeds, monster materials and ores for crafting, ingredients you may need for more complex cooking, and the likes. What merchant appears, again, are completely random, and where they are changes daily. So if you're trying to get more of the fruit trees, or get yourselves more seeds for the golden crops, or even higher tiered ores like gold and platinum, then you may want to venture outside of the villages and hunt these merchants down. Now let's move on to the next thing you may not know about, and this one involves battles. Did you know you can do lunge attacks piercing forward to deal damage against foes? This can be done by simultaneously pressing the RB button, or the equivalent of whatever the button you've set up as your dash/evade is, and the attack button. If done correctly, your character will lunge forward and attack. You can also do a downward smash attack, either via jumping and immediately pressing the attack button, or using the parasol to glide to an enemy, disengaging the parasol and pressing the attack button. If done correctly, your character will do a downward smash that does damage in a small area of attack. It gives an added strategy to your attacks, and also a bit more to your arsenal. Not that battles in this game are that hard. Still, it's good to know that there is a bit of a variety to the basic attacks we can dish out. On to number 3 of our list. So you are planting seeds and you end up planting the wrong one by accident. Did you know that you can actually retrieve the seeds you've planted by simply using the Terra Tiller and enabling Village Builder mode? There, you can hover on the plot that had the seeds you mistakenly planted and just press and hold the B button, or whatever button you have for removing decorations, to, well, remove the plot and get your seeds back. This also works regardless if the seed has grown. You will still end up recovering the seeds you've used. This can also be used to revert trees back to seedlings. It's a nice little addition to the game, if I do say so myself. Number 4 has something to do with our NPCs, romanceable or otherwise. Did you know that you can easily tell if you've maxed out the bond rating of each or any of the colorful cast of characters from Guardians of Azuma without actually having to talk to them or checking out their profile? You can do this by using the plum branch, or the fan that Iroha gives you at the near end of the game story, and waving it at them. Normally, if a character hasn't gotten their affection maxed out, you will see a pop-up message on the side telling you their bond grew. Not getting such a notification is a quick way to tell if you need to spend time with them or not. This might not be a game changer much, but if you are someone who plays for a limited amount of time per day, then this is one of those time saver things in my opinion. Next up is something veterans of the series would know a thing or two about: giant crops. This has been a staple not just in Rune Factory, but in Story of Seasons as well. In this game, however, I have found a way to make them appear easier, though you still would need a little bit of patience for it so that you can get them all and get those crop-related village missions out of the way. Giant crops seems to appear randomly, but you can make them appear by doing two particular things. First, avoid using the sacred drum to speed up their growth, especially when there is only 1 day left of growth on them. And second, keep them planted for as long as you are able. The longer the crops are planted, the higher the chance a giant crop will grow. Now you may be wondering, how can you keep them planted for so long if you can't water them, as interacting with a grown crop will have you instantly harvest them? Well, the answer to that is the sacred parasol. Simply use the parasol to keep the crops watered until you can get a giant crop to spawn and harvest it. Another method you can use is to save scum, as the RNG rolls the appearance of the giant crops for you after you go to bed. Luckily, the game also creates an autosave for it, so you can just load your autosave file after each morning that you check the crops to see if a giant has grown with them. Just note that if you are going to save scum, make sure that you sleep at the shrine where you want a giant crop to grow, since teleporting to a different village will create an autosave afterwards. I don't really make use of this method since it is quite boring and eats up time I'd rather be using to do something else. I also noticed that giant crops tend to appear more frequently to crops planted at the regions they are better suited for, and with seeds at their highest level, which is level 9. For context, here are the crops that can get a giant version. Note that flowers and fruit trees as well as rice do not have a giant variant. By the way, this entire thing with the giant crops is something I have personally tested myself and can confidently share about, but it really does take time and patience, and it will lower your income somewhat, especially if you're heavily reliant on your crops for money. Number 6. For number 6, we are going to be talking about villagers again. And by villagers, I mean the ones you can get from defeating blighted monsters or through the daily reports and assigned jobs to. Did you know you can actually re-roll what villagers you end up getting in the end of day reports? It's quite easy actually. If you didn't get any villagers in the reports Wooly gives you at the end of the day, you can simply wait until the next day, open up your menu, click on the gear icon, which is the settings for the game, and select load. Load up your autosave, and this will bring you to before you fell asleep the day before. Simply interact with your bed again, and you will end up getting a new batch of villagers from the report. Do this however many times you want. Personally, I don't really use this because I find it again extremely boring, since this is save scumming, and having to reload and go through the report over and over again just to get the villagers is just But for those who may want to, then knock yourselves out. No judgment here. Our next tip involves fishing this time, and this is extremely useful during rainy days when you are trying to fill out your Pascalpedia, and also during fishing related festivals. Did you know you can respawn fish in fishing spots once you've caught all of them? All you need to do is teleport to a different region and teleport back to the depleted fishing spot. This will respawn all the fish, allowing you to fish there once more. Again, extremely useful for fishing events that require you to catch as many fish as you can in a limited amount of time, like the Fish Water Frenzy and Pond Smelt Catch contest. Moving on, let's talk about elemental properties. Did you know that each of the sacred tools have a corresponding element attached to them? Similarly, did you know that bosses also have those elemental affinities and weaknesses? You can see what a boss enemy is weak to by looking atop their health bar. Right next to their names will be the icons of whatever elements or attacks they are weak to. As for your tools, you can tell what element is associated with them by looking at the tiny little icon underneath their name while selecting them using the Sacred Treasure Ring. Speaking of enemy bosses, did you know you can also tame most of them? Like how it is with taming ordinary foes, you need to wave your Sacred Plum branch, or again, the fan Iroha gives you, and get that little smiley face icon appearing underneath their health bar during a fight. Defeat them and give them an item they like in order to tame them. Similar to ordinary enemies, bosses have preferences. For instance, the first boss you will encounter in the game, the Mizuki, likes carrots. The Cursed Tree likes a quality branch. The Spectral Warrior enjoys water crystals, and so on as the list goes. Just remember that it sometimes takes more than one of their preferred item to tame them. So if it doesn't work during the first bribe, just try again. Tip number 10! Did you know that you can zoom in and out of your minimap with just a press of a button? Using the right D-pad will cycle through it. This may not seem like much of a tip, but it is useful if you want to get a wider view of the minimap without opening the map from the menu. Or you want to ensure that the path you are taking is the optimal one when moving about a village or outside of the village trying to interact with the characters or get to a specific location. I don't know, this is just something I noted a lot of players did not even know about. And lastly, this last tip actually needs you to be on version 1.0.5 or later to work. Did you know that you can specifically instruct farmer villagers into what actions they can and cannot do? You can do this by heading to the options screen, selecting settings, and scrolling down until you get to the village farmer actions underneath party chatter. Simply toggle which action you would like them to do, whether you simply want them watering your crops or harvesting them, or you can toggle all of them off, whatever floats your boat. After all, we all know these villagers are very bad at sowing seeds that actually matter. Again, this option is only available on the game's 1.0.5 update and onwards, so be sure to keep your game updated. And there you guys have it, things you may not know you can do in the game that will hopefully make your adventures in Azuma even more fun and easier. Do you have something you stumbled upon in the game that ended up making your virtual life in Azuma easier? What's your "oh wow, you can do that" moment from our tips above? I'm curious, so share it via the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, you guys know the drill. Dream on, fly on. Bye bye for now. Keep safe, everyone.